Ash Blake wakes up from a strange sleep in which some girls spent a right above him. He was a problem student, and therefore the rest were surprised that he could go to this course. His friend Raymond hoped that at least this year they would have beautiful girls. Each student had a dragon mark on his body, but Ash had much more than others. He also had a distinctive ability to saddle other people's dragons. On one of the training, he was paired with one classmate, but accidentally touches the neighboring dragon. Sylvia, sitting on him, caused him a rage after she laughed at the loss of his personal dragon. They agreed a rivalry at the nearest festival. On the night before the event, he again dreams of that girl and says that this is their last meeting. At the festival, they go through an obstacle strip, but the Ash is separated. He stumbles upon a masked guy, who points to his little dragon, whom Ash wears inside himself. The stranger's assistant attacks him, but putting him on the ground does not finish him off. She retreats to a cliff, where it is stumbled and almost falls. Ash mechanically catches her and falls instead of a girl. He believes that his life has already ended, but here in the air, his defender appears, though it was not a dragon, but a young girl. She softens his fall. Ash notices her resemblance to that girl from his sleep, who promised to degenerate. The girl comes to her senses and throws up Ash. She says she is a dragon and will be a mistress for him. They come home, where the girl makes him sleep on the floor. In the morning, the president of the school comes to inspect the dragon Ash. She gives her clothes and gives her referrals to the doctor for inspection. She also allows funding to provide her with everything necessary. On a daytime walk, the girl becomes uneasy and everyone starts to stare at them. Sylvia was nearby and scolds him for a bad handling of the dragon. She also searched for Ash to apologize for her words about his dragon. Ash gives the girl the name Eco. She goes to the toilet, but she was there for a very long time. Sylvia helps him and understands that she was stolen. She offered to find IVF using a mark that is associated with a dragon. Before Ash, butterflies appear that only he sees. They lead him to the house in which they find IVF. She was lying on the table, and in front of her was Angela, a teacher and the best specialist in the study of dragons. She was going to make an autopsy to understand why she was reborn in the human body. She came to sleep so that they would not interfere, but Ash could withstand sleep and save Eco. The next morning, it turns out that Angela becomes their class teacher. Rebecca, the head of the student council, calling Ash to his office, calls him to his team. Then a second-degree anxiety sounded. It turned out that the dragon was agitating. Rebecca instantly put on a suit and saddled the dragon. At one point, a huge monster appeared in the city, which circled everything in its path. Rebecca threw a huge spear at him, but his flesh had great regeneration. Ash asks Sylvia to call her dragon to save Eco. Being swallowed, she sees a girl who says that Ash now does not have the strength to defeat the necromancy. It was the girl who was at night before the birth of IVF. Together, they create an arch costume for Ash. In this armor, he manages to recruit necromancy, and it turns out to be saved by Eco. Rebecca takes Ash and Sylvia in the student council. Sylvia becomes an officer in public order, and Ash is responsible for general issues. IVF also represent how the talisman of the school and the dragon Ash. A group of lovers of the so-called Silver Knight appeared at the school, but no one knew his personality. They come to the class of Ash, where he tries not to open. Jessica also says that he's going to give birth to a child from him. When she leaves, Rebecca says to behave more accurately so as not to reveal her personality. Recently, Sylvia was very sad because she found out that her sister Veronica would soon arrive at school. Her maid Cosetta says that it was unpleasant for her because Veronica subjected her sister to the sister grueling and cruel training. On the day of her arrival, Sylvia still went to the meeting. Their ship was huge. He flew with the help of a dragon crystal, which published a huge collision of magic. The sisters have not seen each other for 4 years. It turns out that Cosette pretended to be Sylvia because she did not really want to see Veronica. She immediately saw through it, but Sylvia still ran out. Veronica publicly humiliates her, but Ash tries to intervene. Veronica takes him on board where she is going to talk about his power in a hot spring. Also, there were the president of the school, Eco, and Sylvia. Veronica tells her sister to have a baby for the kingdom while she's 16. Ash still tries to protect her, and Veronica offers to decide everything at tomorrow's test. Sylvia was able to score 1 goal, but in the next attempt, she falls off the dragon and passes out. Ash brings her to a room where Glenn, Veronica's assistant, tells her to go to church. It is with him that Sylvia will have to marry. In the church, she meets Jessica, who is praying for a pregnancy from the Silver Knight, but then they burst in. Veronica receives a video call from the church, where Avdotia has taken everyone hostage and promised to kill one at every bell. Jessica was the only one hung from the cross for saying that she was from a wealthy family. Ash was sent to negotiate while the others made their way under the church. He asked Eco to create another suit that could stop a time bomb. Already inside, he finds out that Avdojiet is just looking for his sister. When the baby started crying, she decided to kill him first, but Sylvia covers them. Avdojiet rips off her clothes, humiliating her, but now Sylvia claims to have become stronger and reborn. She also promises herself to become a real knight. At this point, the team is already arriving and popping out from under the floor. Ash also dresses in his costume and freezes the bomb and Avdojiet herself. Jessica, seeing that he was a silver knight, now followed Ash on his heels, even came at night. The next day, it turned out that Avdojiet was only sent by Veronica to check on Sylvia. At the event, Rebecca says that one student will be able to participate in the boot camp by special invitation. It was Ash, of course. A special child prodigy, Luca, will also participate. They notice smoke in a nearby building. Upon arrival, it turns out to be Luca, who simply lit too many scented candles recently. Iko has been having a nightmare where she is being attacked by a monster similar to necromancy. Ash notices that Luca's dragon Gawain is no longer accepting her. He asks Rebecca for help, but there was only one way out. Ash had to saddle him himself. Iko created a costume for him again, and Ash was going to sort out the feelings of the dragon, but he immediately went on the attack. Ash can't do anything, and even the suit couldn't help him. He takes permission from Rebecca to go to Luca's bedroom, but with Ika. Upon arrival, she gives tea to the guests and says that she will go to the training camp anyway. Already there, the first day they rest before the ordeal. Jessica tries to take Ash away from her honeymoon by force, but Iko and Sylvia try to help him. At night, he sees Luca and follows her. He notices their next meeting with another refusal. Ash intervenes again, but this time he can't get hit. He tries to mount him again, but Gawain had the defense to do so. He is again lying unconscious, but then Enya appears, the girl he saved before the abyss. For the sake of her master, she watched him every day, but now she decided to repay him for that time. In a dream, he sees that girl from his dreams, Navi. She tells him that Gawain is only protecting Luca because after the time she fell off him, she is now afraid to ride on him. It also turns out that Gawain has less than 5 days to live. When Ash wakes up, he immediately tells Luca everything. She plows, but understands the situation. Ash overslept the whole camp and there is 1 day left before leaving. Rebecca announces a day of rest. Luca comes running to Ash and reveals that she has lost contact with her dragon. They are about to start searching, but Ash doesn't want to cancel the celebration for the students. As a result, Ash, Sylvia, Iko, and Luca go to the mausoleum with old legends. There they were met by 100 necromancers. They killed one of them, but the rest flew towards the camp. The detachment did not turn around, they continued on their way. Inside, they see Milgos, the masked guy. Sylvia realizes that this is her brother Julius, who should someday be executed by the ballet for killing their dragon. During this time, Iko was once again choosing a costume for Ash. Inside, Navi made her promise that someday she would create her own original costume. When she woke up, she was already in the hands of the monster. While in the costume, Ash immediately gives battle to Milgos. With one of his drones, he turns his hand to stone. This hand was artificial, but Milgos backs off anyway. Luca promises to no longer be afraid of his dragon, and Gawain answers her call. Together with Ash, they free the camp from necromancy on the dragon. Already at school, Sylvia receives a letter from her father. He wants her to attend the Continental Convention and also waits for Ash and Iko with her. Upon arrival, they are greeted by a huge hall, but Sylvia must first meet with her father, so they separate. Father said that it was Veronica who recommended her to this convention. Sylvia wants to ask him about Julius, but she realizes that he doesn't know how to lie. The city was very beautiful and Ash and Iko went for a walk. Prime, the girl who accompanied them, was already tired because Iko wanted to go through the whole city. Then an airship appeared in the sky, and this meant that the time had come for their meeting with the king. Cosette escorts them and changes them into a good uniform. The king thanks them for that incident with the necromancers and gives Ash the title of Dragonar. Also, King Oswald invites them to tomorrow's masquerade ball. Sylvia guesses that when necromancy attacked the city, it was her brother Julius Dragon. She tells this to Veronica, who instructs Sylvia not to tell anyone about it. All the girls are preparing for the ball, and Iko wants to beat everyone else because she is a dragon. Sylvia came to Ash's bedroom. She tells him about all her experiences, and Ash supports her with his story. Because of a thunderstorm, she threw herself into his arms, but then Cosetta called her, and they left. Prime was picking out an outfit for Iko, and at one point reminded that she and Ash could not be together due to the fact that she was a dragon. The ball will start any minute, and she still wasn't there. Prin ran after him and found her in front of Anyo, the squad. Looks like they were planning an attack during the ball. Already at the party, Sylvia and Ash notice Milgos, but they can't confirm it. After the dance, the servants found Prem, who reported that Iko had been taken prisoner. Ash guesses that she might be in the airship and immediately goes there with Sylvia. All this time, they were experimenting on her. They wanted to show Ikko's true dragon form. They directed huge streams of mana into her, but nothing changed. Then, setting the maximum power, they made a mistake. The whole ship began to explode, and in Ikko, something changed. Ash's dragon mark hand was covered in flames. Ikko's true appearance turned out to be terrifying. Guests were evacuated from the ball, but Milgos and Veronica remained. He confesses that he is the reincarnation of Julius, and they engage in battle. The dark side of Julius took over Ikko and left the real Julius behind. Having mastered this monster, Milgos fights Navi inside. Together with Ash, Julius led the ships of Veronica. The rest of the dragons have immobilized the monster, while Ash wants to try to recruit him. Ikko herself wakes up in a cage in an unfamiliar place. Navi passes on some of her knowledge to him and invites her to create the best costume, incomparable to the previous ones. Ash was already falling, but Luke saves him on the fly. Together, they help Ash, and Ikko manages to create a suit. He cuts off the monster's horn and the heavens become light again. Ikko survives, but Julius reveals that he sensed that Milgos had escaped. Ikko is left with a chip on his horn due to Ash. She confesses her feelings to him.